Well, we hired him at Fox NFL Kickoff, 11 a.m. Eastern. He has been a home run for us. 12 years, 3 Super Bowl rings, a Super Bowl MVP. And from Belichick to Bill O'Brien, Josh McDaniels, Brian Daboll, Julian Edelman has been around the block. And we talk off the air about – I want to address something first on Josh Allen. And you made a good point backstage, is that cultures are different. And you had mentioned this last time you were on, Julian. Even with Belichick, if you returned all the same players, every team has a new identity. But I do feel with defensive coaches, the identity is always pretty close. There's ways to play. And I feel like with Josh Allen, he once again, this offense is him putting on a cape. And I watched last night and I'm like, why are we down to a Hail Mary? These teams aren't close. And you pointed out that maybe this is sort of what Sean likes.
Yeah, you look at it just put me back when Coach would talk about our games, and especially this time of the year, you're just trying to win games. You're getting ready to go on your run. You got to find ways to win games. And if you look at last night, it was a field position battle.
Yes.
Like they were pinning the Buccaneers all night. And that's what defensive coaches want. You know, they have what they had. They were playing from ahead. They're pinning the other team that doesn't really know how to play the Buffalo Bills far back. And McDermott loves that. He's a defensive-minded coach. This guy wants to play with a lead and make these guys travel the whole length of the field. And usually when that happens, teams make mistakes or they have to punt from their 5, and then you're getting the field position back and you're going to get points. So, late in the year when it's getting colder, this is a template for a lot of teams of how they play.
Yeah. I may look at it and think, you left so much meat on the bone. Sean's like, that's how I want to win every game.
I don't know if that's verbatim what he's saying, but a win is a win, especially a non-division, non-conference team. You don't play each other that often. You're not very familiar with them. So to go out and get a win outside the conference, you're just doing anything you can to get the win.
So Belichick, right before they play Buffalo, word gets out, leaks.
Yeah.
I always say stuff leaks for a reason. That Belichick's got a new deal. What did you make of that?
I didn't know what to make of it because historically, no one ever knew anything about Coach's contract. There's 3 people in the world that do, probably. There could be one other. It's Mr. Kraft, Jonathan Kraft, and Bill. No one else knows anything. No one talks of anything. So it tells you 2 things. One, puts a little heat on Coach. Hey, Coach, we're sticking back with you. Let's go. And then number 2, it tells the players, I know you're hearing what the media is saying. Oh, Coach is this, that. Well, you better straighten up because he's going to be around for 3 more years. That's what it could be as well. So I don't know. I'm not in the building. But it was very odd for me to hear that because no one ever talks about the contract. And it's the biggest mystery in sports.
And it's a lot of money. So then they go out and they beat Buffalo. Did New England turn a corner, or is it just mistakes by Buffalo?
I think it's a combination of both. New England finally played a game the way they want to play a game.
Yeah.
Like let's do well on third down. They were 4 for 9. We could deal with that. Let's skip third down. Have opportunistic runs with Zeke and Ramondre. They didn't kill the rushing yards, but they had opportunistic runs. And most importantly, let's take care of the football. Yes, they had a fumble by Bourne, but they didn't throw picks. They didn't have these dumb throws by Mack or a receiver falling down. Like it just seemed a little more tightened up. And it's great for the younger players and the players in that offense and on that team to see that, because coaches, I guarantee, has been preaching that exact formula right there, how they beat the Buffalo Bills all year. Guys, we take care of the football. We execute on situational plays, third down red area, which they were also 3 for 5 in the red area. They had a good red area plan going. And let's take care of the football. Our defense will get us. They'll get us plays because Josh Allen, he's gonna throw 1 to 5 balls in a team meeting.
Strong arm guys always do.
He's a very confident guy. It's his strength and his weakness. So they finally went back and they played the game the way they had to. And it's good to see that. It was really good. I got a couple guys that are still there that I played with, and gives them a little jolt, maybe a little confidence. Now they're going into Miami, or they're going into Miami this week.
Interesting game. That O-line for Miami all dinged up, Julian.
Yes, yeah, and you have Godshaw and who's the other tackle for the Pats? D tackle. He's been having a really good year. My bad, Bubs, if you're watching this.
No problem.
The template's out on how to get at Miami.
Absolutely.
Mid-pressure. Let's get pressure up the middle of the pocket. Let's get Tua off his reads. Let's make him think about the rush. Kind of a fast finesse team when they go against physical brute.
I've seen it 3 times.
There's a template. So, this could be a good thing. I mean, going for the Patriots going forward. I mean, they always split. We always split with Miami. And I know Miami got the Patriots back in Foxborough, but, this could be a good week for the Patriots. The Patriots are 2-1 in the division.
Yep.
I
want to talk about the trade deadline. So I always think, because if I didn't do this, my dream job would be a GM in the NFL.
Yeah.
I would love it. And I always had this theory is that free agency is Suckerville. Is basically I want to draft and develop, but there are realities that everybody misses on the draft. The Howie Roseman misses on the draft. So sometimes you got to go by your mistake. And so I look at Dallas, and Zeke got old really fast. Derrick Henry's out there. And I look at it, and Tony Pollard is more of a dynamic 2. He's not on a pitching staff. He's not your ace. He's your 2. And I look at this team, and I got my CeeDee Lamb, and I have Dak. O-line's pretty good. I got my pass rusher. And I think to myself, trade deadline, Cleveland's open for business. They just gave their safety to Philly. They're open for business. And after this weekend, Julian, Tuesday's the trade deadline, a lot of people are going to be open for business. A lot of those teams are on the bubble. Tampa, by the way, probably now open for business. What do you make of Derrick Henry, Dallas? Is that a fit or somewhere else?
I like that fit, and I heard your take that, he could be a first or second, a short down, a goal line type back. But if you look at Derrick Henry's history, he's not really good in those situations. If you really look at it, he's a guy that you have to give him a certain number of carries to get him going. He breaks through the line, and he's got an 80-yard run.
Right.
But when it's 3rd and 1, it's 4th and 1 on the 1. He's got those big old legs, and it seems like guys can bottle him up. And so, I think it would be a good storyline, but I would like to see Derrick Henry go to Cleveland. I think Cleveland would be a good spot. Hunt hasn't been playing the way that he has in the past. They don't have Chubb anymore. They've been getting wins. I don't even know how, through their defense, but with a guy like Derrick Henry, especially when it gets a little colder in the AFC North, guy big back, guys don't like to tackle when it gets colder. I think Derrick Henry going to Cleveland is ideal.
That's a really good point. Northern Division, guys don't want to tackle. So I was initially not a tush-push guy. And then I thought to myself, timeout. I wasn't anti-Wildcat. I was it didn't work.
Yeah.
But in the end, what Nick Sirianni said is best center in a decade and a quarterback that deadlifts 600 pounds who's small that you can't get a shot at. It's innovation.
Yeah.
By the way, Tom never failed in the quarterback sneak. So I don't like the look of it, but I didn't like the look of Tom's quarterback sneaks. They worked.
Yeah.
So how do you view it? Is it dangerous? Do you worry about that?
It's very dangerous. I remember specifically, we'd have our short yardage meetings, and Scarnecchio would get up on the mic, and he'd be like, all right, fellas, we got to get down. We're putting our quarterback in the jaws of death. And that's what they would say, the jaws of death, because that's what it is when you go in there. I mean, we saw what Brock Purdy got. You get banged from all different areas. Guys are trying to stop that play, and it hasn't gone that way necessarily for Philadelphia, but there still is a risk when they're putting their best player or their highest paid player in the jaws of death. So I don't think they should take it away. I think teams should try to find a way to beat it, or you're getting some shots on the quarterback that, those add up. So I don't think they should make it illegal at all. So got to stop it.
I said there's a really interesting stat is that NFC teams are 1-16 against Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And I said, it's like if you've never skied before and somebody takes you up on the big chair, it looks like Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Okay, you need a couple runs. You need a couple lessons. Now, there's a way to beat Lamar. You got to see that. You got to see it a couple times. So AFC teams do better. So I don't take anything away from Detroit. I think they'll be fine. It's like, this is an avalanche. Let's get on the plane and get out of here. Tell me your thoughts on Lamar. You played college quarterback. I find him better in the pocket than people think. I like guys that are competitive. He's furious when he misses. Mm-hmm. The first time you saw him, what did you make of his style? Because you were a guy that moved in the pocket.
Yeah, he's a dangerous player, and it makes everyone vulnerable on the defense if you don't do your job. That's why it's so hard to prepare for a guy like him if you've never seen him. I remember when he first came in the league, they had me running scout team quarterback.
I bet that, yes.
You know what I mean? Just to run around, and I'd have to run around for, after the play, even if I was tagged down, just to get guys to, you gotta swarm them. You gotta swarm them, and you can't get past the quarterback because he's so much faster
in person.
I remember Rob Ninkovich, man, coming after the first drive, he's a lot faster than what he looks on film. You know what I mean? And if you mess up only one player makes a play, that's a 30-yard gain. And then that guy who messed up on that one play, he's thinking about that 30-yard gain, and then he's playing hesitant, and then now it's a formula where Lamar's got this, he sits back in that pocket. They're not going to rush him. He could pick your defense apart, and it's a very tricky situation, especially if you've never seen it.
So if I said to you, Jalen Hurts has been dinged up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the tush push. He argues it's in the pocket. It's not running around. But the other night against Miami, it was very interesting. He did a bootleg and sat down. And when he got up, he shortened his steps because he had a limp and he didn't want anybody to see it. So he kind of pitter-pattered. He's like, I'm not letting them see this. About 45 minutes later, he ran outside and limped. And I said the other day, I don't think he's been healthy since week 6 last year. He's just so gifted. This is such a good O-line that he's able to just play hurt. And then I think to myself, all the times I've talked to athletes, that you were probably dinged up by week 4. I mean, so I find Philadelphia fascinating. The criticisms on Jalen Hurts, I think it could have been in the tush push. But when I watch him play, I don't remember the last time because last year he was hurt.
Yeah.
Go tell me right now as an former NFL player, we are in week 8. Did you ever wake up on a Monday and feel great at this time of the year?
Absolutely not. And that differentiates good players from really good players to great players. I mean, there's countless injuries that no one knows about that Tom Brady had. And the great players, what they do is they know how to adjust their game. They adjust their game to how can I perform at the absolute best with the injury that I'm having. I mean, I remember one time Tom had a broken foot. No one knew about it. And the guy was still playing. And what he would do is he would adjust his game accordingly. Let's get the ball out. Let's not take hits. And Jalen Hurts is a mentally tough guy like that.
Very.
He's the type of guy that he will adjust his game. He's a tough guy that's not going to miss 4 or 5 games. He's going to be there with the team, and he's going to try to figure a way out how to go out and perform at your highest level. I mean, being the quarterback, you're a problem solver. You're the CEO of the team. You got to go out and you got to solve problems, and sometimes the problem's you got to figure a way out. What do I can't go to my right. All right, let's talk with the play caller. Do we not go there? Let's get the ball out quicker. Let's rely on other guys. And I'm a firm believer that Jalen Hurts has been doing that his whole career because he's been banged up. I mean, when you play the position the way he plays it, he's running, he's taking hits. I don't care how much you squat. I don't care how fast you are. These guys are big, and it's a numbers game. The more hits you take, the more vulnerable you are at getting hurt to a bigger injury or you're banged up. That's just what this league's about. So the great ones know how to adjust their game properly. I mean, you don't at this point of the year, no one is 100%. No one's even close to it right now.
Finally, Jordan Love is struggling. And I've said before, and I think this is true, is you can't fool an athlete. Athletes know. I've asked so many guys this. Who's the best player that you come into camp, you talked about this, and you see a 6-round safety from Colgate, and he lights up a receiver, and you're like, second practice, like, that guy's a player. In Green Bay now, I'm a layman. I don't know. But I see things I don't like, downfield accuracy. Do you think people are making judgments in those rooms in Green Bay? Do you think players know, but you can't bail on him because he's probably struggling with confidence?
It depends on how it's going in practice. Practice has a lot to do with everyone's confidence in people. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you see a guy performing in practice well, then it'll eventually triculate to the games. And if it doesn't, then there's a problem there. But, you know, if the guy's out there performing poorly in practice, that's when guys are going to start saying, like, why is this guy getting the reps? What are we doing? You know, but if he's doing well in practice, then game day, there's a whole lot of other variables that set in.
Right.
You know, with this game. So it all, for me, it was always, how's the guy practicing? Can he get the offense going in practice? You know, is he comfortable? Is he making the throws? Because it will translate. I mean, he still is pretty early in his career. I know he's had 3 years, and I'm kind of on your side when it says, like, all right, he's had a year after Thanksgiving, let's go. But, you know, that's a very loyal kind of take your time type organization with the Green Bay Packers. I mean, I don't think Aaron Rodgers out of the beginning, he didn't light it up.
6 and 10.
They saw it in practice, though.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it all depends on how he's doing in practice.
How was Gronk as a practice player?
Gronk was insane. So we used to have goal line 7-on-7 every Friday, Fast Fridays, and no one could cover him. You know, we'd be on the goal line, and he'd be mossing guys and jumping up over guys, and Belichick would just sit there and twirl his whistle and what is going on? And one week he comes out, and I'm talking he would score like 8 touchdowns in this period. Like you couldn't cover him, and you throw it anywhere, the guy's not coverable. He pulled out, remember those easy buttons from Staples?
Yeah.
He pulled out an easy button and just started pressing the easy button at practice after he scored. And, you know, when you perform, Belichick doesn't say anything. He laughed. He goes, oh, what are we doing? But, you know, when it was one of those things.
So he was a dominant practice player.
He was a dominant practice player.
I don't doubt that at all.
No. There was, you know, practice was very, 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 very excruciating with the Patriots. They had to see it for you to go out and do it.
You had to earn it.
You had to earn it every week.
What a pleasure to have you on again, buddy.
It's always a pleasure.
I love having you on.
You know what? You did steal one guy from me.
Who?
Mitch from my social media team. I did. Yeah. He was really good.
I took him.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
you know what?
He went to the bigs.
I treat my people really well. I didn't even know that. Now I feel guilty. Not guilty enough to give it back to you.
He's good. You look at your TikTok scores or whatever.
Yeah, my TikToks. I like that. All right, J-Mac with the news. No. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.